along with most of the new technological advances in 2014, we have also witnessed another technological advance. A group of Stanford researchers have sort of created what they're calling Spider-Man gloves. Now, it can do what the title sounds like. You can climb on walls like Spider-Man. Now, Spider-Man did not inspire these researchers. Actually, geckos have. Geckos can climb on surfaces by using these little tiny hairs they have on their body. They are super adhesive and they can just climb on any surface. They have researched this and sort of created gloves able to do this. Seems it works better, for they tested on a 70-kilogram man climbing a glass surface. At this point, it seems it can only climb smooth surfaces. They haven't really decided to test it on any other surfaces. But if this really works, then this will be great for just expedition and climbing. It would really limit how much gear you would have to bring with you to the mountains or just any high location. You could just use these gloves and just climb freely wherever you are.
I'm just gonna go on Rotten Tomatoes real quick. Fantastic. Explosively entertaining. Top-notch casting and a well-paced slow burn make Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 the best film in the franchise yet. Are you people out of your minds? It's nothing. Nothing. Nothing happens. Hello and welcome to blah blah blah. You know what this is. When are we as a generation and as a nation going to start taking risks again? Franchises like Star Wars and Harry Potter, which started this whole craze of 2 parts, by the way, got so big because they took a chance. They did something against the grind, something people had never seen before. The studios didn't know whether or not people would want to see space adventures or a little wizard boy, but they put their money into it because they had faith in it. The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 is the perfect example of not taking a risk. It's formulaic, unoriginal, and worst of all, it's boring. There is no reason this film should be in 2 parts at all. Katniss only fires 1 arrow throughout the entire movie's 2-hour runtime. I haven't been this bored in a blockbuster since After Earth. This film opts for a slow-burning character study of Katniss and an exposition on the rebels' strategies in fighting the Capitol. The only problem is, we don't care. We don't care not only about the rebels, but also about Katniss, because number 1, she's not that good of a character the way they portray her in this movie, and number 2, the writing gives her absolutely nothing to work with. Don't get me wrong, Jennifer Lawrence is a fantastic actress, but there's just nothing here. Not only are the rebels' antics uninteresting, but Katniss herself is uninteresting in this movie. The writing is so bland, it's pretty much interchangeable for any of the characters there. The last film, Catching Fire, was from the writers of 127 Hours and Little Miss Sunshine. Both very good. This one's chiefly from the writer of The Butler, which is still good, but not even close to the tone they're going for. The Butler's dialogue and drama was pulled off because they had a fantastic director behind it. Francis Lawrence, while I do think he's a good director, kind of phones it in with this movie. Not to mention the ending of this movie is really anticlimactic. I'm talking Desolation of Smog bad. In short, this film feels like a massive collection of deleted scenes, and it's essentially just a trailer for the next movie. So
Can
overall,
you eat chicken to it? Oh, damn.
yes. So overall, it's a 4 out of 10. I better not be disappointed by the finale, Lionsgate. Until next time, I'm still Parker Lehman.
Now, as I'm sure all of you have been hearing on various news outlets, the Ferguson riots in Missouri have gotten somewhat out of control since the lack of an indictment last week of Officer Wilson after the alleged shooting in cold blood of the 18-year-old Michael Brown. Before you condemn either one of these tragic individuals, I would invite you to take a closer look and condemn the true villain in this instance. Because you see, in the besieged city of Ferguson, neither Wilson or Brown are villains. Neither white or black have the guilt for the fires and the riots and the looting that now consume the city, but rather this hungry beast known as the media. You see, the media feed off of strife, and they have lied to you. For instance, the media said that the Ferguson General Hospital, all 3 floors were sanctioned off for injuries during the riots. My friends, there is no Ferguson General Hospital. The surrounding area, of course, have braced for the impact, but have received nothing. Minimal injuries. Now, the Ferguson riots are violent, but here's the difference between Ferguson and other instances in why this has been handled so horrifically badly. You see, in other instances, there have been a grand jury. However, as with all grand juries, the case has only been decided over a course of 1 day. The evidence has been kept private, and you know what happened? It did not become a media circus. Here's the difference. The grand jury, since August, met for 25 days. All evidence was made public. They did not treat this as a normal case. It should have received the exact same treatment as our justice system provides. And now, the poor city of Ferguson is paying the price because of this. Good night, gentlemen.
So a couple years ago, Ford has come out with a truck called the Ford F-150 SVT Raptor. Now earlier this January, Chevrolet has released news that they're going to come up with a truck called the Chevrolet Silverado Reaper. Now this truck, when I saw images of it, I thought it was awesome. Now, the one thing I don't like about the Silverado compared to the F-150 is that the Silverado the Reaper is not as wide as the F-150. But also how they copied the graphics same as the Raptor in the back part of the bed. So I just find that the Silverado looks better in some parts and the Ford looks better in some parts. The interior of the Silverado looks very nice too with a nice touchscreen, but also the Ford has that. The Reaper comes with a supercharged V8 engine that pumps about 475 horsepower, and they come with a 6.2 liter V8 supercharged motor that pumps about, I would have to say about 550 horsepower. But now the Ford Raptor only has one engine, that is the 6.2 liter V8 that pumps about 411 horsepower. Even though the Ford is much bigger than the Silverado, I would actually prefer the Silverado Reaper just because of the design and the graphics on it. I am the cooler Pennison.
No, you're not.
And this has been Car Talk.
Sony Pictures was victim of a massive cyber attack the other week, having 4 movies stolen from their database. The company has involved the FBI because if this situation is not handled properly, it could cost them a lot of money. Many films that haven't even been released yet were leaked. A few years ago, X-Men Origins Wolverine suffered the same fate because it was prematurely released to the public, and a lot of people saw it outside of the theater and didn't pay for it, so they lost a lot of money. On that Monday, all their computers froze up and were replaced by an image of a red skull with a phrase, hacked by the GOP. GOP apparently stands for Guardians of Peace. If you ask me, leaking Annie a month before its release isn't really a peace priority. Or is it?
So it really seems technology has come a long way in 2014. Well, with the 3D printers and the world's first hoverboard, it seems like we are going even a step further with virtual reality technology. A group of Swedish programmers have sort of created, well, a sphere that actually replaces the keyboard and mouse. So pretend like you're holding a sphere, and then what you can do with it is sort of just like tap on the sphere, sort of like you're typing, and then sort of just manipulate the sphere into like, you know, accessing different apps or, you know, like using different programs using the sphere. It'd be great for multiple hands-on, like if you want to go on your computer and then simultaneously switch to your iPad. So it'd be connected to your 2 devices. Now, it is still going through some testing right now, And it really seems like they are waiting for a big company to scoop them up and be available for the market. Now, they've also wanted to take this a step further by sort of not having the sphere limited. So you can take the sphere on the go, sort of you don't have to stand in one place with the sphere. In order for the sphere to work, you have to stand in front of a camera and sort of just use the sphere.